If you look through each video on our channel so far, you will notice two important trends. One, we've been steadily gaining viewership over the past few months, so a quick thanks to all our viewers. We moving, and we literally could not do it without y'all. Two, we a couple of negative Nancy's. I mean, just look at our video titles. Your player rankings are bad. The Suns and Clippers are bad. The Knicks are mid. The Warriors are officially dead. The Detroit Pistons, the worst team of all time? Goodness gracious, who woke up and pissed in our cereal? So in an effort to spread a bit more positivity, we wanted to show some love to 6 role players who we think don't get enough attention, especially when taking into account how important they are to their team's championship chances. So if this interests you at all, stay tuned, like and subscribe, comment your favorite role player down below, and get ready for the Sweatshop OT. I don't feel like you can have an all-NBA role player conversation without at least mentioning Derrick White on the Boston Celtics. I don't like it's kind of a cop-out. I wrote in my notes the ugliest bald head in the NBA. But when the Celtics originally traded for him from the Spurs, I liked Derrick White on the Celtics. I thought they gave up a bit too much for him. They ended up giving up, let me think off the top of my head, I think it was Josh Richardson, Romeo Langford, and 2 first-round picks, or a first and a swap or something like that. And I thought that was too much because Derrick White had shown some flashes of being a really good high-level starter, but he hadn't shown the consistency up to that point on the Spurs. But almost right when he got onto the Celtics, it's like, oh, okay, this is why they gave up that much for him. He's proven to be one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, essentially only behind his teammate, which is kind of crazy, Drew Holiday. They got opposing backcourts going to sleep the night before with cold sweats dripping down their face. And then on top of that, he's a great shooter, he's a good playmaker, and he's proven to be clutch in the clutch and also in the playoffs.
Yeah. You can forget that game against Miami where he had that tip back. Like, I thought that game was
in my head.
Over. It was over. And he was just in the right place at the right time and made the winning play. That's hard for a lot of people to do. So I mean, I completely understand it.
Yeah. So I'll keep it short with Derrick White because he is talked about a lot. But I just feel like you can't start off any role player conversation without at least mentioning Derrick White. And I promise the rest of my picks are not talked about that much, if at all. But I had to give some love to Derrick White.
The starting center role for the All-NBA role player.
You did this. You went so much more into the All-NBA.
Oh my God!
I really just chose players I wanted to talk about.
I had been thinking about this for so long.
All right, go ahead.
I'm taking Jonas Valančiūnas. Jonas is averaging 14 points per game, almost 10 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1.2 blocks, shooting a very efficient 57% from the field, and what I thought was surprising was a 37% from 3. He's one of those guys like Brook Lopez, who I think has fundamentally reshaped his career, his ability to be a spot-up outside shooter, and that's paid dividends this year for his team. I think his presence for the Pelicans has made a massive difference, especially in the role that he plays as just a big man down low that can bang with anybody.
Yeah, Jonas Valančiūnas, that's a very good choice. He definitely deserves some love.
Okay, who do you got? Who you got next?
Mr. Isaiah Joe. Props to you, my man. Props to you. He's our only movement shooter. He's our only shooter that's coming off of curls and shooting it off rip. He's the only shooter coming off of DHOs and shooting off rip. He's
an athletic JJ Redick.
Yeah, obviously not as good a shooter as JJ Redick, but he's in that same role. I just want to give JJ Redick his love because he was a great player in his own right, and I'm just saying Isaiah Joe is a lot more important to the Thunder than his role would suggest. Listen, I love our roster. I love the torture chamber. I've loved him since it was the bubble and he was locking up James Harden. I love J-Dub. He's even exceeded my sky-high expectations this year. He's been exceptional all season long. And I love Josh Giddey. Josh Giggity. Josh Giddey. As a player,
Freudian slips in there, Josh.
Josh Giddey is a decent player for the team, but none of these guys are exceptional shooters. And I just know in the playoffs there are going to be some games where they're not on. And in those games, a player like Isaiah Joe that you can just insert into the lineup and he's going to space the floor for Shea, that's going to be super valuable. So much props to Isaiah Joe. Oh, another quick thing. Apparently him and our backup center, Jay Will, apparently they were teammates in high school, which I just thought was interesting. But Isaiah Joe is going to be a pivotal piece to our playoff run. And if we do end up reaching the Western Conference Finals, which I think we have the ability to do, it will be partly because of Isaiah Joe.
All right, so I wanted to go, and then my starting point guard, I've got Mike Conley. He's averaging about 11 points per game, 6.5 assists, almost 3 rebounds, steal. He's shooting 46% from the field and 45% from 3 on 5.2 attempts per game. In the locker room, this has been spotlighted by a couple of reports of just how much his presence affects the overall experience of that Timberwolves team. Like, Anthony Edwards is benefiting more than he ever has solely because Mike Conley is in his corner. He brings stability to the point guard position, which is something that the Timberwolves have lacked ever since they got D'Angelo Russell. It's just been a headache there. And, with all of the trials and tribulations they went through last year with the play of Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns, really trying to figure out whose role was whose. I think the pickup of Mike Conley is a seamless fit for the Timberwolves. And just his ability to shoot for that team too. Like, I did not realize so many of these role players are shooting, 40+% from 3 on what we would consider pretty moderate to high volume. Like five attempts a game, he's knocking down at least 2 threes a game for the Timberwolves. And I think that's so valuable for them, especially as a team that, kind of struggles with spacing.
Mike Conley is the perfect fit for the Timberwolves. He's everything you said, great leader, good 3-point shooter, and he's a good team defender, which just adds on more to this defensive juggernaut that is the Minnesota Timberwolves. I mean, Anthony Edwards, who's playing his tail off on the defensive end. Jaden McDaniels, one of the best defenders in the league. And then prime or close to prime Rudy Gobert. Like, if you add in a good defender who's also a pretty good 3-point shooter on top of that, then you get what you have right now with the Minnesota Timberwolves. So much love to Mike Conley. He deserves more praise than he's getting.
This year is really exciting for them because they put together a cohesive unit that works well within itself. And then I guess I can go another point guard as well. I got to go with Russell Westbrook, man.
Thank you. Just so y'all know, Ryan was hating on Russell Westbrook, bro, for the entire time he was in OKC, and I'm a Thunder fan, so I was a bit hot about it. I couldn't really say much because his playoff numbers were, but
Josh,
so this is
his ideal
for Ryan. This is full.
This is his ideal position to be. Something that I have to commend the man for. He's a league MVP guy that's averaged triple-double, 25+ points per game, multiple seasons, led multiple teams to the playoffs. However, since he left the OKC Thunder, he has been a shell of himself and has not played. Hold on, let me finish.
Since he got to the Clippers, I don't know. No. So I need to make sure you get this right. He was good on the Wizards and the Rockets. Since he went to the Clippers, since he went to your franchise, your favorite franchise. Actually, no, the Lakers. Since he went to Los Angeles, that's when he started playing bad. He was good before that. Okay, continue.
He was not playing winning basketball, and that's what I was trying to say.
Whatever.
Right now, he is playing winning basketball. For someone to surrender their ego in the way that Russell Westbrook has for the greater benefit of the team, he might be my role player of the year. Just because he took a step back out of the starting lineup so that James Harden can do what James Harden does, which good for the team. Russell has been a great secondary ball handler that I think team that like the Lakers are looking across their cross room tenants or whatever and saying like, where the hell was that? Why couldn't he do that on our team? Because he's averaging 11 points per game, 4.5 assists. He's one of the league's best rebounding guards still coming off the bench. And he's played, Josh, I did not know that this man was a good defender until this year.
It's not even like you were hating on him and you didn't see it. He was not a good defender until this year with the Clippers. The defense he played against KD, I forgot which specific game it was. I've been an OKC fan since essentially their inception. They're one of the closer teams to where we live in Kansas City. And I didn't want to choose the Bulls because I felt like that was overplayed. So I was like, you know what? OKC's my team. So I've watched a lot of Russell Westbrook games. That game that Russell Westbrook played against KD defensively is maybe the best I've seen him since like his early years. Like, everyone knew he had the capability, but it's just he never gave the effort because he was always doing so much on offense.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you've hit on it pretty well. He's just been very impressive for me. Like, video that I've been working on for a while now that I'm hoping to put out soon. It just talks about the identity of the Los Angeles Clippers. It's that siren call every year, Josh. That siren call that brings me back. I'm a lonely sailor that's just he's gone to rehab. He's a reformed Thunder fan.
I am telling you, don't go back.
My vice calls me back, and it's
my goodness.
I need to get my fix. And then I see Russell Westbrook, and I go, oh my gosh, this guy isn't playing out of himself. That's one of those characteristics in a role player that I just love.
My last one is someone that I'm not sure what you'll think about, but I think everyone will appreciate. Duncan Robinson of the Miami Heat.
He's been impressive. He's taken on more of that ball handling responsibility.
Absolutely.
It's been great.
Yeah, and it's even better because he's had a couple of down years. People were talking about trading him away, talking about how you need to attach assets to him to get rid of his contract. And then this year, he's back to what he was shooting when he first got his contract, 42.2% from three on 7 really tough threes a game. You got to watch his tape to see it.
He might be one of the best movement shooters in the league.
He's definitely up there. Out of like the role players, like the strictly shooters, he's definitely top 3.
Not like necessarily creating the shot. He's coming off a screen, and he's like, the moment his right or left foot is behind the 3-point line, he pulls the balls in his hand, bam.
On top of that, he's playing some of the best defense of his career. He's not a plus defender, but he's still playing pretty solid defense. And also, the Miami Heat have been heavily injured so far this year, and he has been key in keeping them afloat in the standings. And really, as we've seen in the past, the Miami Heat just need to make the playoffs in some shape or form, and then they'll make some noise. So Duncan Robinson has had a very nice renaissance year, and he is going to be pivotal to the Miami Heat just reaching the playoffs. And then I'm excited to see how he performs once the playoffs are underway. That's it.
Aaron Gordon has been very impressive. I got to see Aaron Gordon play a few weeks ago against the Nets, and holy crap, that dude is just casually athletic. It's, people got more excited about Christian Braun dunking over a dude than Aaron Gordon breaking out a double clutch behind the back dunk during the game. And I just thought that was crazy. But he's averaging 14 points per game, almost 7 rebounds, 3.5 assists, a steal per game. And he's still shooting pretty effectively from the floor at 54%. Now shooting as well from 3. But he's one of those people, you put him at the 3rd best player. And I do think he's the 3rd best player in the playoffs. But he's the 4th best guy in terms of scoring. He's a great defender. He's a big body that I think really helps Jokic out night in, night out. And someone who's really exciting to watch play too. Something that I think is underrated about his game is his positioning. He does a tremendous job, and I don't think this gets talked about enough. Especially when you watch basketball, unless it's speedball breakdown or whatever it is, where you really get to see how plays develop. He's one of those people who, in that dunker spot, thrives more than anybody else, with the exception of maybe Anthony Davis. He always seems to be in the right position to do something when needed, and that's something that I think is highly underrated about his game. And I wish he was getting more touches, taking it away from the Mizzou guy and MPJ, but he's not going to play outside of himself, and I admire that.